What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, let's talk about Batman Arkham Shadow. I promised you guys I would talk about it, and I would cover this game, even though at the end of the road, at the end of the light, at the end of the tunnel, I'm actually not going to be getting it because I don't have the platform that the thing is actually on. Look, I actually think it looks really good, and that's what we're here to talk about. They show the trailer off at Gamescom. We'll talk a little bit about that, but kind of jumping to the end, so it's confirmed to be October, but actually no date. I mean, I guess they just have to stand in line because there's like 30 games coming out in October. Hopefully we find out like within the next 2-3 weeks. It's kind of weird, to be honest with you, because, you know, the end of October is like 2 months away. The beginning of October is like a month away. So they don't have a lot of time to like nail the date. But I do wonder, and this is almost an aside, but I do think it's important. I wonder like if the other games are kind of like getting in the way, where it's like they want October, but they look at the release schedule and they say, where in God's name are we supposed to put this thing? It's just interesting to me that you wouldn't have the date yet, even though it's coming out in a month and a half, you know, I guess at the latest it possibly can. Okay, in terms of the trailer itself, it makes a very good argument for getting a Quest 3, okay? I have a Quest. I think I have the Quest 2. To be honest with you, I don't know which one I have, but I have played Beat Saber on it. I played that one Star Wars game on it, maybe a couple other things. It's a good workout system. I highly recommend it for that, but, you know, as I've said, like the platform itself is just what holds it back. But as to what they showed, man, oh man, like Arkham in VR. Well, it's not like we've never had that before, but I do think this looks like the better one. You see a lot of combat in the trailer, and I like the way they do it, right? Because they're kind of mixing and matching. So you're going to have the grapple hook, you have the batarang, and, you know, he throws it at one, he goes after another. You got the explosive gel. It really, you know, I played Arkham Asylum to celebrate the 15-year anniversary in just actually a couple days from now, and I did that a few weeks ago, and so I'm kind of like into like the earlier, you know what I mean? Like Arkham Origins being, I guess, you know, the prequel one, but Asylum being the first one, right? So he's got the least amount of gadgets, you know, the least amount of kind of things happening. This game reminds me of it. Like it has, obviously like tonally and just the sound, like having Roger Craig Smith back is freaking amazing. A couple actually well-known people, even Tara Strong coming back as, I guess, Harleen Quinzel, we'll just say, right? Ratcatcher, etc. Good cast. Sounds the part, sounds like Arkham, looks like Arkham. It's just, you know, it's in VR, but I'm impressed by it. Like, it's hard to analyze VR too much because I don't even know necessarily if I can explain it right, but, you know, when you put on the headset, like, it's different. It's a different kind of setup, and it's a different kind of feel, having it be literally all the way around you. I guess I'm, like, explaining VR for those that don't know what VR is, but, you know, like, what we've seen in the trailer looks really good. It's just, you have to take that one extra step of, in a normal game, normal, quote unquote, right? You see the game, that is what you would do. You see Black Myth Wukong gameplay, when you pick up the controller, that's what it looks like. You might play it different, you know, like you might be better or worse than somebody else, but that's how it looks. In VR, you see the gel exploding, you see the grapple hook being used, you see him, you know, fighting one to the next, a free flow combat style, right? You see that, but there is like a separation between what we see in a video and then when you put it on and you're literally in it. I guess it's just a long way of saying that it does look impressive. And so I've always tried to come across in one way, actually, when it comes to this game. I don't know why, you know, well, I mean, look, it's a developer that does VR games, right? And they're actually one of the better VR developers out there. I know people, including myself, it's just bad timing. You had Suicide Squad, you had Gotham Knights before it. You have the return of an Arkham game. You have Roger Craig Smith, who does such a good job, I honestly believe. And it's a VR game. And so it's just, after all of what we've went through, and then we get this, for it to be a VR game, it stings. It absolutely does. I feel like everybody is kind of aware of it and just knows it, but just kind of, at this point, needs to accept it, right? Where it's like, you can either not get it. But I think, actually, especially like just looking at the comments of these trailers that are, you know, appearing, whether it's IGN or maybe the developer itself, or maybe like WB, people that are not getting it, and they'll identify themselves, right? I'm not getting it, like I don't have a Quest or, you know, whatever. The game looks great. You're seeing a lot of people really like what they're seeing, even though they're either not going to play it or not interested in it, you know, to the extent of the VR part, right? So I feel like it's a very interesting game because I feel like actually the reception to it is going to be really good. I think it's already really good, but there's also like that one part of it where many people know that they like it and they hope people have fun with it, but they're not getting it themselves. And I actually feel like that's a good amount of people. I hope the game sells. I hope the game does well. It's a very talented group of developers, so I don't want it failing or anything. It's just interesting when you kind of see it. I feel like everybody's kind of united in, this looks good. It's a bad timing, right? It's the wrong time, but you're doing it. It looks impressive. Like, you can imagine putting on the headset and playing it. It's just many of us aren't going to take that step to actually do it. You know what I mean? But I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. So I'll continue to cover it for as long as I can. And it still needs a release date, so we can talk about that when it eventually gets one. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel. Bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.